That's the Georgia Peach, your host with the most. We're gonna get in here a little bit with this is fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes, okay? USC 107, 1976, fair use. This is the Ku Klux Klan and American History, Part 1. I own no rights to this content. This is strictly for educational purposes. News reporting criticism, which doesn't infringe on the copyright holder. Fair use, I repeat, fair use.
The Ku Klux Klan is the oldest terrorist group in the United States.
For 5,000 years, the white man has been the supreme race. We, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, intend to keep it.
It's a secret society of white supremacists that preaches hatred of black people and which has lasted for decades, always managing to reinvent itself.
And y'all gonna be surprised at how much money these people make, and then they call themselves a non-profit organization, and they get money.
Its crimes have caused bloodshed in America for over 150 years. 150 years of hatred, racism, and horror.
White power! As I say, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. I don't believe in segregation, I believe in slavery.
150 years of exclusion, violence, and rage. A tale of cruelty whose ghosts still haunt the United States. (1865), the United States. The Civil War finally came to an end. After 4 years of deadly combat and more than 700,000 deaths, the pro-slavery Southern states were defeated by the abolitionist North. General Lee surrendered to General Grant at Appomattox. Several months later, slavery was abolished. Nearly 4 million of the South's 9 million inhabitants were enslaved. And at last they were free of their chains. For plantation owners, this revolution was unbearable.
So a shock to their identity, because our identity was very much tied up in being masters to being a class of people who were masters to slaves, even if they had not themselves been slave owners.
Slave owners were, of course, terrified by the end of slavery. They were terrified economically that they would lose their very cheap labor force, but they were also terrified that African American people would start to demand the rights of citizenship.
In 1865, a handful of Confederate veterans of Scottish descent decided to create a secret society in the town of Pulaski, Tennessee.
It was originally designed to be a fraternal order. It was designed as a joke. It was literally designed for a bunch of guys to have a reason to hang out and drink beer and just like take care of each other.
If we were to ask why they created the Klan, they claimed always that it started as a fraternal drinking society.
They were young men, they were bored, They lived in a small town called Pulaski, Tennessee, and they decided to form a little secret society.
The veterans initially wanted to share stories of battle and the good old times for the slave-owning South. They gave their group a mysterious name, Ku Klux Klan.
We don't know why they chose the name Ku Klux Klan. People say it's because that's the sound a shotgun would make when it was cocked, Ku Klux, like that. The one that is most broadly accepted is meant to be named after the Greek word for circle, kuklos. And that makes a certain amount of sense when you realize that the people who founded the Klan were educated in Latin and Greek and did use Latin phrases in particular in some of their other writings. They were very invested in the fact that they were well educated.
They harked back to Greek mythology, Greek names. It was really, in many ways, like a very adolescent fantasy of a kind of medieval bunch of warriors.
They added the word clan, a common term in Scotland, to the Greek phrase kuklos, and started each word with a K. The Klan was born. Their first appearances in public in Pulaski were peaceful, but soon harassment and intimidation of former slaves became daily rituals.
The very first Klan group in Pulaski was essentially a group that kind of played pranks. They would dress up in very elaborate costumes, not the white sheets that we see today. And they would go around and try and scare people or play pranks. They often would try and frighten freed slaves who they thought were so superstitious that they would believe they were ghosts and so on.
Sometimes they change their voices during the attacks. So they will they'll make animal noises and hoots and things like that. But they'll also speak really high or really low, or one guy will speak high and the other guy will speak low, or they'll take on a fake German accent. They're somehow being playful with their violence. They're performing.
Rumors spread that the masked men were ghosts of Confederate soldiers killed in combat and back for revenge. Fear spread among former slaves. Soon, brotherhoods began to emerge across the South, with names like the Knights of the White Rose, the White League, and the Red Shirts. They all used the same intimidation tactics. Klansmen would stake out territory in front of voting booths to keep black men from participating in elections. The South had to stay in white hands.
They became a kind of paramilitary organization, or more properly said, a bunch of little paramilitary organizations, which very quickly, in the course of a year or so, became the violent enforcers of what black people could do and could not do.
African Americans resisted, sometimes armed, but the murders and lynchings continued.
Whippings were very common, and that was a legacy of slavery. These men, and one thing you notice is that when these Ku Klux whip people, they know how to whip people. They know what kinds of tree branch to use to get whatever effect that they want. You have to remember that whipping can be deadly, particularly in this era where you don't have the antibiotics. You get an infection. Couple of weeks later, out of terrible agony, you die, from just the open wounds caused by these whippings.
It's very important to understand that in lynching an individual, their goal was to intimidate the whole mass. That is what terrorism is. And to a very large extent, they succeeded, because while slavery was abolished, the complete subordination of African Americans continued. unable to vote, unable to get decent jobs, unable to have education, unable to have health care. It was a very successful campaign by a small terrorist organization.
The Klan and its so-called men of justice began to get a reputation. Groups sprung up across the South, and recruitment exploded. The Klan still needed a charismatic leader to lead the fight. For the role, they chose a military man, a hero to Southerners from the War of Secession, General Nathan Bedford Forrest.
They come together, they said, okay, who's going to be our leader? And they took a vote, and they all voted for who they thought should be a leader. Nathan Bedford Forrest got the most votes, and they come to him and they're like, hey, we started this thing. It's called the Ku Klux Klan, or the Ku Klux, and we made you our leader. Nathan Bedford Forrest didn't even realize that he was voted as he wasn't even in the KKK.
Nathan Bedford Forrest was a romantic figure. He was a celebrity. He was just kind of known as kind of like a man who's going to do what needs to be done, right? So he was sort of, he had that reputation, and he was happy to have his face put on it. He clearly indicated that he was the head of the Klan.
For a group as violent as the Klan, Forrest was an ideal leader. His reputation preceded him. A former slave trader, he had committed a number of war crimes during the war.
During the Civil War, Nathan Bedford Forrest presided over the massacre of 300 to 400 black men who were surrendering. They were actually Yankee troops. They were surrendering to Forrest's troops, but Forrest allowed his troops to run rampage and, in fact, encouraged them to and murder all of these people. I think that really tells you what the Klan was all about. Nathan Bedford Forrest was a slave trader, a war criminal, and the first leader of the National Klan at its most violent moment.
With Forrest in the lead, the Klansmen began to take more punitive action. The violence reached its peak in 1868. With the presidential elections approaching, dozens of courthouses, churches, and polling places went up in smoke. More than 1,000 murders were committed in 4 weeks. Former slaves could not be allowed in any case to exercise their rights. Doing so would upset the system of white dominance. The victims were not chosen randomly.
The main thing that the first Klan was trying to accomplish was the deactivation, the politicide of African Americans within the South. So they particularly targeted African Americans who voted. They even more so targeted African Americans who held office. And in many cases, they didn't go to the African Americans who held office in order to say, you need to resign your office or we're going to be back. They went in and they killed them outright because they understood that these were people that were already established as leaders. They understood that these were people that others in the community looked to as individuals who could kind of exemplify what it meant to assert oneself as a citizen within the society. And those people needed to be neutralized.
The Reconstruction era Klan was also happy to target white Republicans, those that they saw as acting in the political interests that would further African American power.
And so this reminds us again that what we're talking about here is not only disorganized violence, it's not only depravity, it's not only terrorism, it's politics.
In Washington, plans were made to take down the Invisible Empire, whatever it took. Congress adopted a series of laws to dismantle the Klan. Martial law was declared. The Federal Army, still deployed in the South, was mobilized to fight the Klan in order to protect black voters. Slowly, the clampdown began to take effect. In 1872, the Klan was officially declared destroyed. But it was too late. White supremacists didn't need them anymore.
When free black slaves and their sympathizers were pushed away, when black people became more and more afraid to vote because it could cost them their lives, the work of the Klan was essentially done.
White Southerners are managing to get back legitimate power. Once they control the sheriff's office, the trial justices, once they are in charge of those things, they don't need the Klan anymore. And in fact, if you have legitimate power, you really don't like a bunch of young men running around deciding to attack people. You don't want to have to deal with whatever their priorities are. You want to be in charge.
In 1877, the Federal Army pulled out of the South with mixed results. The end of slavery was meant to give way to a regime of equality. Instead, it was slowly replaced with segregation, which lasted nearly a century. Blacks and whites wouldn't mix in daily life. Schools, shops, transportation, hospitals, and more were all affected. African Americans would be separated from the white population, which kept all the power. Black people remained second-class citizens. The values of the Klan's invisible empire had spread amongst the general population. Lynchings of African Americans became more common. The federal government turned a blind eye.
Photos from lynchings would be sold and used as postcards. There would be souvenirs from these sorts of events. People would want to take pictures in front of someone who was victimized in a lynching. So these are acts that involved, directly or indirectly, tacitly, broad swaths of the white population.
Lynchings often went far beyond the stereotype of simply hangings. People may be shot, they could be burned alive, they would be tied to the back of automobiles by the time we get to the 20th century and dragged through the streets, and then have their body displayed publicly.
And what you often had in some of these lynchings was the actual molestation of the body of the lynched person. They, to be crude about it, one of the things they loved to do would be to cut off a man's penis and stick it in his mouth. Some of that was so sexualized that there also might seem to be some kind of white anxiety about Black sexuality.
It was a ritual that was meant to publicly demonstrate to both Blacks who heard the stories and whites who witnessed the crime that racial domination was something that would be enforced within society. So it was a cultural process. It was a performance, a very macabre performance, as much as it was a kind of attempt to take legal matters into the hands of vigilantes. And in that sense, it meant to organize society in the same sort of way that a book or a speech or a sermon at church is meant to tell you what your values are.
At the beginning of the 20th century, a new world was taking shape. Vertical cities emerged, and America became a country of immigration. Millions of Europeans, Catholics from the South, Jews from the East, disembarked for the world's leading industrial powerhouse and the promise of a better future. The Klan had fallen into obscurity. 50 years after the Civil War, it was born again from its ashes. In February 1915, The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith came out. The film was an adaptation of a successful play called The Klansman. A long feature film, it looked back at the Civil War and the Reconstruction. Griffith was an innovator. There were wide shots of battle scenes, realistic decor, and swelling music. The Birth of a Nation was a major cinematic show that broke with the silly, homemade skits that were typical of early cinematography. In the second half of the film, Griffith depicted scenes from the post-war era. Klansmen were shown not as criminals, but as justice doers.
Scholars of film look at it as very innovative and progressive in terms of its use of lighting, use of actors, and so on. But the core of this was the understanding that in the movie that these Black men are really threatening to kidnap and rape white women all over the place. And the culmination or the denouement of the film is quite terrifying because it shows all these Black people who are like barbarians, savages, just running wild across the land. And the brave Ku Klux Klanners are defending morality and white womanhood. And that position about defending white womanhood is very, very central to the Southern Klan.
It presented the Ku Klux Klan romantically. It presented the Ku Klux Klan as justified. All of this means that someone has to ride, literally, in on a white horse and not only restore order, but restore honor.
And this is very important in terms of why people were attracted, because for a certain kind of men, it made you feel good. You were kind of heroic and a super patriot doing something to protect your society and country.
The righters of wrongs in the Klan did their version of justice, and the audiences wanted more. The film roused new curiosity for the Ku Klux Klan. One man in particular took advantage of it: William Joseph Simmons. The former lay preacher, born in Alabama, was a member of fraternal orders. In November 1915, he organized the climb of Stone Mountain near Atlanta. Simmons
Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your fall review. If you'd like to know your September review, that was done in the last Sunday Shuffle if you'd like to catch up to that. Today, we're going to look at the fall months, specifically October, November, December. So let's go over the board real quick. We're going to kick it off with the world. New beginning energies that we might open up to over the fall, or perhaps we'd like to, or we don't know, but it would be nice to look forward to it. We're also going to cover the sun. Okay, what we understand makes us happy. Are we on track with it? Are we on point with it? Do we need to make modifications and or adjustments? The moon, okay, things we may not be addressing or we don't know to address. Okay, I'm just going to take a gentle look at both of those energies, the sun and the moon. I thought that would be a good reflection. Yeah. And now we're going to take a look specifically at October. Okay, number 10 in tarot. November, number 11 in tarot. Of course, you might recognize Justice. And number 12, December, the Hanged Man. So we get it? October, November, December, 10, 11, 12. And that's it. That's the board. We're going to also pull some oracles and see if there's an overall theme here for you today. What's going on, please, for Capricorn? Show me Capricorn, please. Show me Capricorn. Oh, you had some concepts straight out the gate. Flowers, number 11. Beautiful. Be generous. Success and emotional fulfillment are yours, allowing things to bloom so long as they are carefully cultivated to give more of yourself in order to get back. That is the correct energetic balance, right? We don't rarely get anything for free. We have to put something of ourselves into it in order to get back from it. And this is the healthy balance. These are the healthy relationships. These are the healthy work energies, yeah? But the idea is what you have put into this, whatever that is, will come into fruition or bloom, okay? Beautiful. What else, please? Any other focal points, please, for Capricorn over the fall? Focal points, please, for Capricorn over the fall. Forgiveness, home, justice. I see you letting go of things that which do not matter. Forgiveness, so you can just move on. Carefully craft your life. Put more of yourself into your home. That, again, the concentration of balance. The more you put yourself, your time, energy, and effort into that which gives back to you, the healthier the construct. That's how real energetic exchange works, and that's how things like blooming works, right? We get back what we put into it, and if we don't, that means it doesn't work. Forgiving, walking away from that which does not work into more fulfilling areas, literally, of your life. Some of you will be focusing very heavily on your home over the fall, okay? Making it just, balanced, correct. A place and source of strength for you. Putting more back into your own home environment, your own physical space, and allowing that energy to bloom. As you take care of your home, you take care of yourself. And it speaks volumes about how people perceive themselves, and what they experience in their home life is how they treat themselves. So perhaps forgiving yourself on time and energy wasted elsewhere in other areas of your life, because that is a form of forgiveness. It is a form of moving on. I willfully let this go. There's nothing to be had from it. And whatever energy I was putting into it, I will now dedicate and redirect into myself, and this is correct. And watch yourself bloom in that process. Beautiful. Okay. Got some lovely energy here for you for fall. All right, the world. New beginnings, please. For Capricorn in the fall. New beginnings, please, for Capricorn in the fall. New beginnings, please, for Capricorn in the fall. That could be anything from the new beginning in terms of a clean slate, emotionality, spirituality, mentalities, physical energies, all of it. Okay, what's going on? The Knight of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords. I like that. I like that. Many of you are very much looking forward to the fall. You're showing me a promise and a dedication to make good on a lot of energies, as it again concerns your own personal space, personhood, home. That King, Queen of Pentacles, they're all about that home, that comfort zone. This is mine. So, from a practical point of view, like a base of operations, if you will, you want the comfort of your home world built with confidence, resourcefulness, stability. And we want to take a lot of action towards it this fall. Some of you have plans in place in terms of your personal growth, mostly in your physical world, your monetary world. These are beautiful things. And we're going to take action towards it, very much so. And the energy to back it up. You have plans in place for the fall, many of you do. Anything from a good old fall cleaning to I'm going to make massive improvements to my personal environment. It's all on the agenda. You've got it planned out, many of you. Some of you have already begun to take strides. You really want to, and I get that feeling too. I know what that's like when you kind of want to personally expand your home space. So you put a lot of the best of yourself into it because it does feel correct, and I agree with you. So we're going to start bringing things home almost in a real sense for you. I like that. That's really good energy. It's very active. It's planned. It's coordinated. And just the idea of it, to put more concentrated, realistic energy into your home life makes you feel really good. And it makes you feel safe and secure, and I agree. Okay. You know, there's no better home than the home that you intend for yourself. All right, let's take a look at your sun. This will be the influential energies behind the next several months, yeah? Show me the sun, please. Show me the sun for Capricorn. Show me that sun, please, for Capricorn over the fall. I have an idea of what would make you happy. Many of you are really greeting fall with a particular enthusiasm, with plans in place. I love it. And you're redirecting. You're doing a heck of a job redirecting your energy. This was giving me nothing. I let it go. I forgive myself for participating in it. it chalked up to a whole bunch of nothing. Let's redirect that energy into what matters. Yes, very good. I like that. I like this. This is positive redirection. This is positive planning. It's goal oriented. I'm not saying all is well. I'm not saying it's all roses, but it's lovely. And you watch how things bloom when you put all that lovely energy, time, effort, attention, care, love, compassion into yourself, and watch how things bloom. It's beautiful, really. The sun, justice, I know. Go, Ten of Swords. That's what I'm saying. Six of Pentacles. That was brilliant. That's thank you. Of course, I'm talking to spirit when I do that. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Right here. Forgiveness. I'm redirecting my energies. I forgive myself. Okay, forgiveness, guys, isn't just about the outside energy or circumstance. It's forgiveness of the self. Everything begins with the self. And typically when I see this particular card, this is the Spellcaster's Oracle. Okay. When I see this, it's typically I need to forgive myself first and foremost for putting anything into this that I thought was reasonable, reliable, or practical, or in some way would benefit me. I grossly miscalculated that. And when you forgive yourself, it frees up so much energy, you know. I'm not necessarily have to say forgive someone else or a circumstance. That's up to you. But start with yourself first and then watch where you redirect your energy. And that's what this is. Okay? Some of you are definitely recalibrating your sense of sun for the fall. What makes you happy? There are some balances that make perfect sense to you, and there's others that do not pay out well. Thus, your sun has shifted into what personal happiness is to you, specifically in the spiritual respect of fairness. Many of you are eschewing old work habits that no longer suit, that take away from your productivity. Okay? Your sense of this is not efficient, this is not resourceful. Some of you have kind of given up certain levels of screen time. Okay, it's like, this is not a good use of my time. How did I just end up killing an hour on Twitter? I could be doing 1,000 other things, right? That's kind of coming through for you. You see, it's not just about people, guys. It's also anything that we give our energy to on the practical, realistic level, and that includes your time. And some of you have calculated. You've been doing some calculations. This is adding up to a waste of time. I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that. You know? If I had not been scrolling through this or arguing with that, you know, I could have been applying, looking for a new job, one that actually suits me. See what I'm saying? We're getting more efficient. And for you, am I surprised to see that? No, not at all. Not at all. That's always going to be a kind of Capricorn priority. Does this make sense? Is this any way of profiting me? Is this the best use of my time, energy, effort, and skills? Not what other people are doing. What am I doing? Right? So we are recalibrating the sun as we speak, and look at your energy, redirect. It's beautiful. It's on point. I completely agree with it. I completely agree with what you have going on here. Like I said, it's not perfect, but we were learning. Cleaning house in your energy, your priorities, putting the best of yourself into that which matters and everything else that doesn't. Forgive yourself for participating in it and all. Lessons learned, move on. I love it. It's a great plan, honey. It's a great plan. Not surprised. I'm really seeing the best of you today. Again, not perfect, but this is what you might call more developed Capricorn energy. Now, again, not perfect, but the idea is I need to do what's right by me. And this fall, many of you are saying that this fall is my opportunity to get my shit together, man. I respect that. I do. Show me the moon. So you've worked out quite a few kinks on your own. Good job.
What's going on, baby? How my boo doing today?
Let's see what it is that we have perhaps not been working on. Show me the moon. Show me the moon, please. Show me the moon, please, for Capricorn. Show me the moon.
So you don't get off until late tonight, right?
Yes, for Capricorn. I like reflective energies behind the background months, if you will. So I'll look at different aspects, sun and moon, tower or judgment, stuff like that. Because I want to see what might be impacting the energy behind the months as we understand them. That's why I look at it. Two of Swords, the Eight of Cups, the High Priestess. Oh, yes. Going back to this forgiveness, which is kind of a variation, if you will, of the Eight of Cups. It's not enough to just, you see, she's walking away. It's not enough to just walk away. Okay, we need to understand that in this process of walking away, we say goodbye, part ways with that. That does not work. And that means forgiving ourselves, again, for participating in something that's not working for us emotionally. Okay. Or it never did to begin with, but that's not the feeling I have here. I see you understanding some things are just a waste of time. So that meant you understanding you were putting yourself unnecessarily into things, yes? So 2 of Swords, 8 of Cups, the High Priestess is under the moon. You have a strong intuition that you don't necessarily know perhaps where you're going, but you're like, that's okay, just so long as it's not here. And the land of confusion and detachment. While your physical world seems to be hammering itself out really well with a very strong sense of justification, things must be correct as I best understand them. Okay, I really want to maximize my time this fall. I really want to make use of new opportunities, but I want to create more of that space for myself. That's cool. There's an emotional undercurrent here with that you're not quite completely tapped into. And I think that's because there's still a numbing agent in you, at least in the emotional world. And this can happen very much with earth signs. Is that sometimes you need to get reacquainted with your physical world before your emotional world can open back up. I know it's there in you. Okay. And you might feel out of touch with your intuition. That's okay. Let's get you back in touch with your reality first, and that will help you get back to this. Okay, I promise. This confusing emotional numbness running around in the background is still under the moon. So is your intuition. That's okay. Let's get you reacquainted with your physical environment, and no doubt this will come back out in time. I'm not too worried about it because you have a strong sense of priority. And when you start to fulfill those priorities under your own name and for your own good, this will come out in due course. So for those of you, I suppose my point is, when you feel like you're a little out of touch with intuition and that your emotions, they're not quite there or in place, that will come out in due course. And I strongly suspect the more you get in alignment with your real world and start, again, taking actions towards your plans, this will alleviate. Okay? It'll come back out. It'll come back out. Not too worried about it. Not with the earth signs, not really. Earth, if you're not familiar with it, let's say you're a cross watcher, okay. This isn't really about that today, guys. If love comes up, if love comes up. You know, with the earth signs, they tend to pick, my practical world needs to be in order before my heart feels a little safer to come out. Then I can feel good about me. Very normal, okay, very healthy. Very Capricorn energy. And there's that blooming effect right there. Put more back into you. Okay, you'll feel more. Trust that particular process. All right, let's take a look at October. Let's take a look, please, at October. I like your recalibration, honey. I really do. This is great. I love this energy. I understand it too. Okay, these are my priorities. Watch me take action. In fact, you don't need to. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to watch anything. I'm good. I know what I'm doing, right? But yeah, if you want to watch me go, I'll show you how it's done. Show me October, please, for Capricorn. Show me October, please, for... I love that. And I'm right there with you, honey. Fall is such a beautiful time. It can be so inspiring. It reminds us of time passing, seasons passing, helping us put our stuff in order before the new year begins, you know. But we must remember, too, to relax and unfold and observe these stages in fall. It's just such a beautiful time. Okay, 2 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the Lovers. Okay, now we got some critical energy here come October. Something's coming up. That's rather intense. That's a little intense. And the 2 of Pentacles, that I don't know what to make of this, Christina. So I do have to keep in mind, or rather you should keep in mind, take it resonates if it does not, but also a lot of this is future oriented. It's not meant to apply yet. So before you automatically assume to know, try to refrain from that, okay? Because again, it hasn't happened yet. I'm looking at October. So here with the Lovers, the Hierophant, and the 2 of Pentacles, well, that spike of energy, where the heck did that come from? That is an excellent question. I got a critical kind of high-ranking spiritual connection coming up for you in terms of imperative energy around October. And the question is, what do I do with it? It's provoking a great deal of spiritual intensity, to say the least. Okay. I want to switch gears really quick, and I want to see if I can pick up... Really? They told me to use Big Red. I was not expecting that. Feminine, I tend to isolate this deck for specific use only. Show me what's going on. What's going on about October in this connection, please? I do not know if you know this person or if they're just coming onto the scene all of a sudden, but it seems quite powerful. Could be a connection. I'm seeing it, however, the Hierophant next to the Lovers like that is highly spiritual. Okay. It may not be committed to the real world, particularly as the Two of Pentacles suggest up in the air. Okay. Do we have any more information, please, for our Capricorn and this very strong connection? What is this, please? Can we get more information on it? Four of Swords, the Moon. The Hierophant's here twice. Heavy Taurian energy. Okay. You might have some very strong Taurian aspects in your chart. Connecting to one, we also have Gemini here as well as Pisces. That may or may not mean anything. People like it when I call out the signs. Okay. So, part of the moon energy that I saw for you back here, the energy that made you feel a little numb. Okay. Like you couldn't feel your intuition around it, so you kind of put your intuition as well as your feelings away for this. It's coming back through in some shape in October. I don't know why. October might be an anniversary for some of you, and in conjunction with this energy. You're saying you still don't know how you feel about it. This is a person who has, I believe, kind of emotionally exhausted you, or you became emotionally exhausted by this situation. Regardless, it is important to you. Pulling double Hierophant in the Lovers, that's important, at least at the spiritual level. So that's where that Eight of Cups and the Moon's hitting is in regards to this. That's why I see you focusing on the practicals. It's one of your motivators, but I see why. This is something that we had to walk away from. Forgiveness. I put myself into this. I probably shouldn't have. It emotionally numbed me out, so I tucked all that away and started focusing on my reality. I agree with this plan. Sometimes we can't always be emotion forward. Sometimes your emotions need a break. Okay? They need a place to calmly hide. You can't just always address everything at one time. And I know you, honey. I know you. I know Capricorn. Not as well as, say, another Earth sign reader, but I know Capricorn well enough to know this. Once you get your physical environment under control, that's when your emotions start to feel better, and they can come out more. So in October, this person who kind of provokes the moon and your emotions and exhaustion, they're coming back up rather strongly, but here's the only difference I see. Alleviating some of that confusion is Four Swords. There seems to be some sort of proposal here for some gentle healing. I think what I'm seeing in you, the more that you understand your physical world, the more the confusion of this starts to ease. I don't know if there's a specific energy showing up that represents that Lovers that's provoking it. I just see now that you've done the job that was behind all this the whole time. Focus more on me. Okay, put the best of myself into my household, my physical person. Stabilize, but be energetic, be active, be constructive, be proactive. Beautiful stuff. I love it. And you did a beautiful job of redirecting your energy. And I think it's done its job, because by October, I see you more capable of looking at this at the emotional point of view. You feel more restored. It doesn't hurt you as much, and you don't need to hide the feeling of it so much. In other words, you did your job very well. Again, very Capricorn energy I'm looking at today. I think what you proposed from the beginning is going to put you in a much better state to feel better about this connection by October. Whether or not there's real physical exchange, it's small, but it is a possibility. It's like I still have this strong connection, and I still feel very spiritually connected to it. But you're showing me some evidence for 3D, but it's not a lot. So I can't help but interpret that by October, regardless of this person's physical influence in your life or not, you're feeling a heck of a lot better. You're much more capable of turning around, looking at it, and feeling your way around it. So again, your plan, be it intended or unintended, worked. I don't care what the motivation was behind it. And hey, bonus, you're putting the best of you back into you, and it feels great. I am someone who cares more about outcome, motivation, process. And by all rights, you've achieved those things. You're going to be able to look at this stuff that you had to hide because it didn't feel good by October. Much more capable of looking at it, feeling your way around it, and being possibly even accepting of it, confrontational with it, maybe. Yeah, it's coming up very strongly for you at the very start of fall. Show me November, please. Show me November, show me November, show me November, show me November. Show me November, show me November. Great job. I'm very happy for you. You've done a great job entering into the fall, and you're not even there yet. But I can see your preliminary plans. That didn't happen overnight. You've been building them probably as of now. And I see you putting them into direct action at this very start of fall. It's beautiful. Some of you, you'll begin your construction in September, making those modifications. Show me justice, please. Not justice, but November 11. Show me. Show me November, please. I know, once we get past Virgo season, the number in the month doesn't line up, then that's okay. 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. You're much more on the mend, and you know it. You're acknowledging it. Doesn't that feel better by November? Okay? Mm-hmm. 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Cups. You seem to be much more on the mend, and here's the mental recognition of it. I like that a great deal. And you're kind of saying more or less sacrifices had to be made if it means feeling better about myself and putting my hearts in order. That means understanding that Queen of Swords, very understanding intellectually, that 5 of Pentacles are inevitable in life. And the more capable we are of understanding that fact and making room for it and absorbing it and learning from it, well, the better we understand ourselves and our feelings. I agree with this. And I think that's very rational of you. There are some things that you are simply parting ways with over November, and you've accepted it. And it's also you accepting breakages of the past and saying, so it must be. Sometimes we must part ways with people, places, circumstances, and coin.
Hey, baby.
If it means giving ourselves our best and putting our hearts to right. Sometimes we must break from things. Sometimes they must break from us, be it, again, circumstance, money, family, friends, lovers, whatever. Your heart feels a lot more in order now that it's been addressed, now that you're able to look at difficult things. What else, please? What else, please, about November? So I like the flow through. I like the acknowledgement. You're also saying, so it must be. And you're accepting this really puts your hearts to rights. 5 of Cups, the 2 of Cups, the 3 of Wands. Okay. Bit of a waiting element here on love. I don't think it's you. It looks like someone misses you. I don't know who it is. I was going to say, I can't say that. I mean, I can say that. It's just, I was going to say it doesn't count unless I say it, so it sucks. I see you rejecting something because you're saying it's the right thing to do. And that you feel better, and you're glad you feel better. But I see you declining something because you're in a good position to understand it's not for you. It looks like it's matters of the heart. So while you might have understood this very strong spiritual connection and that you've healed from it, you're able to look at it now. You might even be able to talk to it. I see you declining any sort of further development with it. They, however, still long for you in some way. I don't know who they are. It's whoever meets this definition of the Hierophant/Lovers combination, deeply spiritual, but doesn't seem to be practical on the earthly plane of existence. That's who I'm describing. It's someone whom you seem to have very strong spiritual, maybe even emotional access to, but physically, no. They don't seem to be part of your life, and that's something that you had to come to terms with. Okay? You've accepted it. Like I said, you've accepted that some things just cannot come together. I see you declining any further development, like I said. And they're sad. There's regrets attached to them. They understand, I believe, why they're being rejected. I don't know who this is. This could be a family member, somebody who wants to mend bridges with you, and just like it's better that you and I are disconnected. I'm at peace with this particular subject. I hope you are too. Okay, but it is firm. It is firm. This is what you call really strong discernment processes, and the fall is the best time for that. Cleaning house, getting yourself together in order, and you understand what's healthy and isn't. You understand what's justifiable and what isn't justifiable. And while this person yearns in their heart to connect with you more on that emotional level, I see you rejecting it. Because from your estimation, it does not serve, or it's not healthy, or in some way it's not practical in the real world. Understand? I will always advocate that you do what's right for you. I'm just proud that you were able to look through the pain and address it. You couldn't back here. I understand. But you putting so much beautiful work into you put you into this position to know absolutely, at least when it comes to this particular matter of the heart, what it is that you can do and what it is you will not do. And so long as you know what's right for you, that's all I care about. Sometimes we must. You're saying it has to remain broken. I don't think you're denying the spiritual connection. You show me such heavy aspects of that. Heavy aspects of it. You know how much this marks you. You know how much it has influenced you. So much so that when you pulled away from it, it exhausted you. And you had to put your feelings and your intuition under the moon for this and focus on reality. So if you're telling me I can't re-engage in this with you, but thank you. I'm at peace with it, and I hope you are too. I know you mean it.
You gotta getting our word tonight, huh, boo boo? That's what's up. You deserve a break.
Something's either right for you or it isn't. Right? And I'm sorry that they are sad. But you do wish them a full heart peace with the dove, like you would for yourself. It's no ill will. No ill will. But there's something about this connection that for some reason will not take shape in reality. So it just won't take shape in reality. Show me that Hanged Man, please. Or not Hanged Man, December. Apologies, old habits. I read tarot. Show me the Hanged Man. But God dang it, I did it again. Sorry, Capricorn. December. Show me December, please, for Capricorn. Of course, as we enter your birth season.
Yep, it's about that time.
Show me Capricorn in December. A Hanged Man. The Three of Swords, the Two of Wands. Yes, you have learned so much. You're really going to see the cumulative effect by December. Okay, so much. I like this. You've done such a good job of suspending. You have done such a good job of suspending pain, learning from it, active learning, active decision making. You've gained so much perspective on heartbreak and rejection. Very good. I don't want to go into that. I think we've already gotten the background of it. Okay. What else, please, for December? You've done such a good job. And I see you going through a quieter time in December. Okay, quieter phase. I think you've suspended also all the activity that got you into this position. It's kind of like I need a break now. December's a time for rest. Let's wrap up some of these projects or at least put them on pause. Show me. What else, please, about Capricorn in December? Seven of Wands, Ten of Swords, Judgment. Oh, yes. For many of you, this was a lesson. That's your cumulative effect. Okay. That's your cumulative effect of driving all the points home by the end of fall. You will have known everything that you need to know about this particular lesson and how pain is an indication that something's wrong. Blockage is an indication that something's wrong. That When something proves itself early on as painful or difficult or obstructive, our lesson is to back away from it, not give more to it. Okay? By December, I see you being very much at peace with this subject. I was hoping, however, to see something a little more solid for you in terms of, I don't know, money. But that's a good lesson. And like I said, by December, you're very much at peace with this subject. Yeah. Anything else, please, about Capricorn's physical world beyond the spiritual lessons? Beyond the spiritual lessons, I do see this as being a realistic, solid. I don't mean to hurt you, but I am declining this. Okay, what's done is done, and it's probably best that we stay that way. You don't seem to be interested in options in love over this fall period. Again, it's not about that for the Capricorn I'm looking at. Okay, very good. I think I recall not too long ago commenting that I need to see you move forward. Okay, and I believe it was your intimate tarot because my voice was so messed up, I kind of remembered it a little bit. You have to understand, I do these at such a frequency, I can't remember them all. It's pretty much a blank slate by the time I next move on. But I was like, Capricorn, we got to get out of this. Many of you are doing that. Many of you are doing that. It's like I refuse to. The Queen of Swords is here. Some of you have some very sharp air in your charts. Gemini, specifically Libra, Aquarius. Many of you are really turning your back on the fantasy. Reality only. No more fantasy. I won't indulge in fantasy. I won't indulge in the ideas of what you and I could have been or whatever the situation is, or hope that things can be mended. If there's no reality construct between you and I,
2 minutes now.
then no. I will decline it. But again, the idea is I feel better about this and I hope you do too. But you should also, I hope, understand why I'm not participating in it anymore. And you've also made it clear to yourself, above all, no fantasy. No fantasy. No fantasy. Reality only. Okay? Okay. That seems to be a really large sticking point. Overall, of course, this concept of principle is going to apply to your material work world as well. Yeah. Wanting to manifest past confusion and anxiety. No more of this. No more of this. I just see you letting it go. It's the same subject over and over again. And I know I like to repeat myself, but even I'm like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I want to manifest past confusion. No more of this. No more of this. I don't want to put any more into this than I already have. It's enough for me to be at peace with it, but I don't want to continue to entertain it, be frustrated by it, or anxious by it. It really is a release, and that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Good. Then hopefully I will see you doing other things and engaging in other things by your next seasonal review. You look like you're going to be pretty darned active over the fall, okay, in your efforts to regain ground with yourself, your home environment specifically. The messenger, active. The first for some of you might be important. Very active messenger. Receiving swift news, be it good or positive, we do not know. Some of you will be receiving news about possibly sudden wealth. Let's take that with a grain of salt, guys. Okay, the odds of like winning the lottery or a jackpot is very minimal, but some of you will be receiving some sort of swift news about some sort of generated income, profit, monetary things.
I'm waiting on it.
Okay, everything perhaps from a bump in your portfolio, okay, from stocks to, congratulations, Capricorn, you won the sweepstakes. I don't know. But if that's true, congratulations. Once it comes in, it will be in fast. I was about to say, I did see several sevens for you, didn't I?
That's my money coming in from the government that I'm waiting on. I know it's coming.
7. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Some of you might get a little bit of luck over the fall. Okay, distance horizons. Okay, the anchor. Trying to find our place of stability. That means traveling further on the distant horizon before we can put our anchor down. Yes. Okay. Concerns. Looking closer. Yeah, there it is. Looking closer, I believe that's you looking at that particular situation with a kind of eyeglass, really looking at the details of the thing. And I saw that Queen of Swords for you twice. Really looking at something practically, analytically. Okay, really getting in there. And from a wise point of view, okay, an experienced point of view, with an analytical point of view, really understanding something for the way it is and coming to terms with it and at peace with it. That's why I see you declining it. There's something about this connection that in the 3D doesn't add up. Spiritually, it impacts you. Emotionally, it impacts you. But it doesn't seem to bear any sort of relevance, strong foothold, or standing in your real world. And that's what I see you looking at. Many of you, like I said, you picked up anchor and moved on from this, okay, in the hopes of putting your anchor down somewhere else that actually makes sense to you. You know? Makes sense. Book of Wisdom. Many of you are learning so much right now about decision making. The Book of Wisdom, number 26, 6, the storm. And then, of course, 22, duality, nature, left, right, A, B, make a decision. Many of you have gotten very smart, learned lots of things, learned things the hard way. The storm is clearing up through your wisdom and experience and giving the situation a practical kind of analytical approach. And your conclusion is, I have a decision to make. I can work with what I know or not. And I see you choosing to work with what you know. You've kind of weathered the storm on this particular subject. You thought about it as much as you could. You learned about it as much as you could. You gained counsel on it as much as you could. You talked to family, friends, possibly actual counsel. You're like, I've given this as much thought as possible. While our feelings here are here, the love might be here, our connection might be infinite, but you and I have a very limited reality. That's it. That's a lot of coming to terms with things. Many of you have gone back to school. That was a decision you made, and it felt chaotic at first, but it's smoothing out. Many of you are in careers or choosing careers of investigation and or inquiry, possibly professorship, teaching, scholarship, that kind of thing. I don't know why it's coming in. Which reminds me, yes, I will be doing something to do with life purpose, pathways, goals, career relatively soon. Okay? Yes, I will be doing that. Yeah, no, I'm looking at a Capricorn. You prize practicality as well as wisdom. So while the love is here, it's enough to forgive the situation and them, but also dedication to move on. No more fantasy. Something like this. Anyway, I see you massively redirecting your energy over fall and just, frankly, making really good decisions for you. Okay? The Medallion of Virgo. Some of you might have some very strong Virgo in your chart. Also Virgo season, which is, we're technically in by now. Might be the start of this whole process. September, as I said, is for many of you when you started. My energy goes to me now and my home, my priorities. Okay? The letter O. Friendly. Some of you have been called very friendly. Also Aquarian energy here. The dragonfly, it is a time for transformation, but real long-lasting, hard-wearing transformation. Feather, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then of course the big heart. I have no doubt that you have a big heart. It's just when it comes to this particular situation or person, it might be that's that big heart that made you feel it got you into this to begin with, because I do see you putting all your feelings away because you're not a place where you can look at them. And once you get more grounded in your reality, you're able to look at this a lot differently than when you last were able to look at it, specifically feel towards it. And your feelings towards it are so very different. It's like, practically speaking, I love this. I know it. I'm not ignorant. But I also know, practically speaking, I'm not supposed to have it. We'll always have a strong connection. We'll always have Paris, if you will. But we don't have the reality of Paris, do we? Something like that. Again, doesn't have to be a significant other, spouse, ex. It could be family member that has absolutely exhausted you to no end. And it's no longer in that place where you are inclined to keep bringing it together. That's it. Okay. I think that about covers it. Did we do it? Yeah, we did all the majors. Yeah, maybe something in here. I don't want to push it too much more. I think we covered everything, Capricorn, honey. The sense and blinking lights are me. Okay. Some of you, for those of you who believe in sign and synchronicities, of course, when things go on the fritz, there's no reason for an electrical, that kind of thing. The blinking lights, etc. That could be a communication from the universe. Say, pay attention. Keeps you more grounded in reality instead of your mind slipping off into fantasy. I think that's more the universe trying to get you back into reality. I can tell that fantasy and the kind of
there you go, Aries.
Hello, Aries. Welcome to your Sunday Shuffle. This week we're going to focus on pathways, purpose, prosperity. Now, do keep in mind when we talk about things like pathway, career stuff, it can get very, very detailed and very, very specific. So if you see yourself in it and you're like, yay, this is totally me, awesome. If you don't see yourself in it at all, this is perfectly normal. Please check your other placements. You will find yourself in there somewhere. Okay? What is going on, please, for Aries? Pathways, purpose, prosperity, work, abundance, career, skills, experience. What's going on, please? Show me. Aries, purpose, pathways, career, skills, experience, money. What is it? Oh, spiritual teacher. Beautiful energy. Let's see. You heal with your classes, sessions, and seminars. So some of you, well, you hold classes, sessions, or seminars in which you are a teacher or some sort of, well, someone who guides. Someone who guides through the spiritual realm, the light principles, some sort of educator where you help expand one's psychological, emotional, or spiritual growth, which that's already a heck of a thing. That's already a heck of a thing, okay? Energy healing, and you are focusing specifically on the concept of healing of the self and for others, emphasizing balance, meditation, practice principles, that kind of thing. Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of your life purpose. You influence others. So the more that you practice energy healing yourself, you inspire others to do the same, okay? To show sense of compassion, equilibrium of the self, okay? Everything begins with the self. The Aries I'm looking at knows that. And it's one of those things that you endeavor to teach others or demonstrate through practice. So that is amazing, honey. I don't know what it is you actually do for a living in the real world, but I know that people look to you for a certain level of guidance, a steady hand, calm energy, a certain aura surrounds you. So you could be a bank teller for all I know, and you could exude this level of energy, and people look to you for example, calmness, serenity. Okay, that's beautiful. I love that. That is one absolutely flows into the other. What's going on? I don't know. I was expecting to see something so specific for you, and you're like, nah. I'm kind of like a spiritual teacher type situation, Christina. Oh, that's great. Okay, judgment, decisions before you. There are pathways in this life that you can take in terms of purpose, but you know that. I think the areas I'm looking at, you already know that. And you have options before you, you had options behind you, and they're still with you. They're still with you. Okay. And the moon, but they're not entirely known to you. You'll discover them along the way. The areas I'm looking at, you're not pressed for that kind of thing. You understand these kind of feelings, emotions, and spiritual guidance will come to you in due course and in due time. You have options before you, they're just not entirely clear to you yet, and I don't know that you're necessarily pursuing them. It's kind of like there's an open flow around you that suggests it'll come to me when it's meant to come to me. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. All right, let's throw down some tarot for you. Show me. Of course, you might have some Pisces in your chart, but show me Aries, please. Let's see if we can really hone in on you. Show me Aries, please. Show me Aries. Show me Aries. Show me Aries. Work, purpose, pathway, career, principle. What's going on there, please? For Aries. Show me Aries, please. Ace of Wands, the inspiration, source, Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, Four of Swords, rest, healing principles, Ace of Cups. Your energy's gearing up for a transition. I don't know if you know that. I strongly suspect that you do. You can feel it, even if you can't pinpoint it. Not all is yet known to you, but you seem to know that you have options. That's here. You might have a couple.
I got you because I got that strong Aries too. But I got my Ace Boon Coon, my baby girl.
One's either going to speak to your fire, sense of inspiration,
3-1-1.
creativity, passion, or one's going to speak to your heart, Ace of Cups. This is emotionally fulfilling as I understand it. Perhaps you're meeting somewhere in between the two. I don't know. But your reaction is joy. Yay! And then I see you going through the rest period. Well now, look at you. Look at you, Aries. I love it. Show me this Ace of Wands. Of course, that is your natural energy. Ace of Wands for you. Show me the Ace of Wands, please, for Aries. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know I'm going to get this question. Okay. I know I'm going to get this question, Christina. Can this apply to love? Yes, of course it can. Resonation. But that's not the point of view. Not today. Not today, hombre. I address that all the time. The love stuff all the time. Today we're all about that career. Show me that Ace of Wands, please. Some of that Ace of Wands, some of that Ace of Wands, some of that Ace of Wands. And I do see that inspiration element in you for others. I can see it. You generate a great deal of positivity, but a natural ease of calmness around you. So that's beautiful stuff. When I can see a core of fire in somebody, but it's calm around them, that means it's a really even distribution of one's personal energy with the Ace of Wands. Always kind of remaining a little ignited, always remaining a kind of inspired, but it's calm, it's tempered. And so people they can't help but look to you. Okay. And that is fantastic energy. I love that. Okay. King of Pentacles. In reality, however, you're very grounded and very stable, and you have just begun to open up with the Six of Swords. I believe, Sat, I just did there, so I kind of remember it. They showed me Six of Swords as well, but I'm looking at, you're showing me King of Pentacles, practically speaking, Christina. Practically speaking, from a place of comfort on my throne. Okay, so again, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, this is personal home finance aspects of comfort zone, stability, reliability, and resourcefulness for the home, for oneself. You're saying Page of Wands a little bit. I've begun to open up to the idea of moving forward, Six of Swords. And when you think about that, it lights you up. When the Ace of Wands is like, ooh, moving on to a particularly new opportunity makes me feel good. And even practically speaking, King of Pentacles is like, practically speaking, even I can find a component to this that says, yeah, it might be a good idea. Realistically, you might be able to earn more, garner more resources, or perhaps that there is just a difference in title and pay or something like that. Or perhaps some of you are thinking about, again, this Six of Swords in career can also mean travel, distance, relocation of one's business, relocation of one's personal home. Either way, regardless, you're excited by the idea of it. Prospect, Page of Wands. I don't see you fully engaging in this. It might be that you have an opportunity that you stumbled across that excites you, but it would require either relocation or travel. And you're saying, I'm open to it. You're open to it. Okay? Let's see that Nine of Cups, please. Let's see that Nine of Cups. Let's see that Nine of Cups. Or you're thinking about it. Some of you would like to be inspired to move in a particular direction at a certain speed, incorporate more travel. Or some of you like, no, actually, I want to relocate. I don't know. Let's take a look. Show me that Nine of Cups, please. Show me that Nine of Cups, please, for Aries. Let's see what your personal sense of joy and fulfillment is. But you got a good, steady head on your shoulders, right? I'm practical, Christina. I'm reliable, but man, my fire's speaking to me. And I have options before me. I know it. I feel it. Okay, and it speaks more personally to me. But I like how you have a good practicality too. Show that Nine of Cups, Three of Wands, waiting, Three of Pentacles, constructive effort, Knight of Pentacles. Oh yeah, okay. You're looking outwards. You're possibly thinking about connecting with somebody. It's going to take a minute. Knight of Pentacles, no rush though, no rush. It's looking like a team up effort, whatever that is. You're thinking about teaming up with somebody for possibly some project work, side gig, that kind of thing. And kind of see, okay, let's get this started, see where it goes. It might be more prosperous in future, but we're going to start here with a nice, calm, easy Three of Pentacles. And if it leads to something more developing, cool. And it's coming from a personal place of satisfaction within you. in that Nine of Cups. Like, doing this would make me happy. Working with this person would make me happy. I know that between us, we can generate something solid and there's income attached to it. It takes a minute. It takes a minute with that Knight of Pentacles, and I don't know why. Even you're like Three of Wands looking out on this. So this might be something that doesn't happen frequently, but you know generates income. So it may not be a consistent work thing like every day. It could be that you're looking to start a business with this person in future, or it could be something that doesn't happen very frequently, but it happens often enough that you know and identify it as being an income generator. The idea that, again, makes you really happy. So we're looking to connect with this person relatively soon. Now, what that has to do, opening up towards this, opening up towards them, opening up towards this particular project. We have to open up towards this particular project. Let me see that Four of Swords, please. Show me that Four of Swords. Oh, sorry. I know that's probably super sharp. Sorry. Show me that Four of Swords, please. Show me that Four of Swords. Show me that Four of Swords. Show me that Four of Swords. Very curious. That's so specific. Let's you and I team up. We can do this. Something like that. So I don't think it's a full-time gig. It doesn't look like one. It's a gig that generates coin, but it happens infrequently. We would like to reach out to this person to get that going. Four of Swords. Oh, Death. The Empress. Oh, Knights of Wands. Oh, regenerative effect. Very good. Okay. Four of Swords. Clarified by Death. The Empress. The Knights of Wands. That's terribly interesting. We used to work with this person? Oh, we haven't worked with this person in a long time. Oh, we haven't worked with this person in a long time. Oh. But we know who they are. The Empress says, highly productive. It is coming across heavily. I don't normally do this because essentially tarot is meant to be sexless, but it is coming across as a female. This is someone we haven't worked with in a long time. This person's highly productive. They are highly productive, but we haven't worked with them in a long time. Transformative effect, Four of Swords. It's been a minute. Oh, we want to see if they want to work on something with, okay, cool. That's where the project person is being associated with that person. We know that they can produce. I told you there is a concept of, don't let my eyes go. If the camera's closer, which means the lighting is closer, which means it's burning my eyeballs. That's why I keep looking away, because my eyeballs need a break. People keep asking me about that. It's really simple, guys. If you had any idea how much light a camera needs so you can see, if you had any idea. And it's like, oh, it's just a ring light. No, I promise you it's more than just a ring light. Anyway, okay, so we haven't talked to this person or worked with them in a while. There's been a restoration period. Perhaps you two haven't worked in projects together for a long time and you're looking out. It's like, I wonder if we can kind of get that back together, because you know what? That's a good way to generate some income on the side with that person. We used to work on that and we worked really well. I wonder if we could get the band back together. I got you. We got some energy there for that. The Knight of Wands. Yeah, that's your personal energy. I think I could go reapproach this person. Let's see if we can get that going again. I got you. It looks like they have a success principle attached to them. It feels that way. I just think it's been a minute since you two have worked together. Four Swords, calmness, quiet, restoration. It's been a minute. Perhaps they have transformed in their own work career. You have transformed in your own work career in your own ways. So it's been a while since you two have worked together. So whatever this is, Ace of Wands, is that what that is? It's not a brand new opportunity. It's a renewal energy. I got it. It takes me a minute, honey, but I get there. Okay. It takes me a minute, but I get there. No, but the Six of Swords is interesting. You have to move towards this. There might be a distance here between you two. Or something that you have to get back to, traverse in time. You have to get back to it in time. Again, I guess it's been a minute, huh? So you're showing me renewed effort, renewed energy towards this. It's exciting. You haven't worked with this person in a minute, so you'd actually have to drift back to where they are to reconnect, because you're showing me heavy. I would love to work with this person again. It's been a minute. Energy. Very good. Okay. I think we got it. Show me the Ace of Cups, please. Show me the Ace of Cups. Show me the Ace of Cups. Honey, it could be anything from a side gig, to where you both make a little more on the side, something like that. It's very specific. You have those options. It's just one of many things. It's just one of the many ideas floating around in your head. But it's not known to you yet, the moon. So we haven't quite connected with them yet. You got a couple of ideas floating around in your head, don't you? Well, of course you do, your Aries. All right, let's see that Ace of Cups, please. Oh, Five of Cups, the Devil, the High Priestess. Oh, why are we worried? Why are you worried? Why are you worried? Why are you worried? Your intuition's here, so why are you worried? Why are you worried? Why are you worried? Oh, you don't know if they'll go for it. Oh, well, why? You two clearly worked together before and it was successful. That's been with you. That's been on your mind. I don't know why. You're showing me that same Ace of Wands here with that Six of Pentacles. You two know how to balance and work together. Okay, and this is a strong truth. These are truth principles also based in reality. So you're showing me heavy renewal effort to tag team with this person. Side work, project work. You both benefit. They're highly productive. And I get that it's been a minute since you worked with them. But there's this is going to trump whatever fears you have around this, generating something in the Ace of Cups that you both feel good about it. Why don't you think they would feel good about it? That's fear, not your intuition talking. There might have been some disappointment between you two since you last worked together. You know, misunderstandings, possibly a falling out. I don't want to get into it. That's the personal side. I'm more interested in seeing if your idea is successful. And by all rights, it is. Okay. So that would explain it. Death, perhaps you both went different ways in your career. And perhaps there might have been some bad feeling when you last two worked together. Cool. But it's looking like you understand that can be overcome. Okay. We have a very strong knowledge of being able to balance with this person, then also work together with them. Income seems to be generated when you two work together. And that's a damn strong truth, and you know it. So I don't know what this ill will is about or this ill feeling about. Again, I'm not getting into the personal side of it, but that's not your intuition talking, honey. That's fear. Fear of reaction, fear of emotional disappointment. Are you afraid that they'll say no or they'll turn it down? You seem to think that this person is heavily water-oriented, productive but water-oriented, and you're concerned about how they will feel in this particular subject. So listen to your intuition, not the fear, okay? Because I see you wanting to do this. There's a success attached to it, strong truth. You seem to know to some degree, when you put your fears aside, that this could balance or work. So, I mean, if you two are able to work successfully in the past, one of the best indicators of future is past success. Best indication of future failures is past failures. So if you two are successfully able to work together well in the past, however it is you two might have left off, that can be overcome, so long as we keep the core principles in mind of cooperation, being honest, showing positive energy, listening to other person's misgivings and working it out. That's what true balancing is. It's not just, everything's smooth and easy peasy. It's because the balance works just because the other person's cooperating when it's good and it's bad. That's what cooperation principles are. It's not you and I working together because it's always sunshine and rainbows and puppies. No, it's because we know how to work together through other things too. And that's where trust comes in. Ace of Swords. If we really want to work through this and join up and team up, we can make things work and make things work between us. So both a bit of a personal side attached to this person, as well as financial success concepts attached to them as well. But yeah, I just, hey, are you changing? No, you're not. You're not. You threw me at first. You showed me a couple aces, but it became renewal energy really fast. Time has taken place. I'd like to work with this person. The last time I worked with them, they were highly productive. Hopefully we've rested 4 swords. So hopefully there's been enough time passed between you two to heal both your respective sides. I see. Okay. Yeah. Very good. So yeah, try not to listen to the fears, listen to your intuition. Again, if you balance before between positive and negative in the past, you can do so in the future, especially since time has passed and that you are both assuming the healing principles have taken place for you both, then yeah, there's nothing that can't be accomplished. Okay, let's, tricky. Yeah, they might be a little bit more on the side of complex, okay? But the lovers, in career says the ideal contract or the ideal working partner. I have to agree. There's something about here that when you two work together, it's really great. There's profit to be had, and two people are highly productive, So this isn't your main gig. This is not your main gig. Even I said that, honey. I said that back here. I said this is something we look forward to, so it doesn't happen often. So this is project work that perhaps happens with this person ever so often, maybe once a year, 6 months, I don't know. But it's not the main gig. It's not your main income. It's like a side-on or an attachment. But yeah, I don't know, honey. It could be a fundraiser, like when I used to do a bake sale for the school. And that's twice a year. So that would kind of qualify this. I'm looking forward to it, and I work with others. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a success. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. I try to put it in realistic endeavors for people. That way you can get a better idea of what the heck I'm saying. There you go. There you go. You have options before you. It's not the only thing you're thinking of. I like your spiritual energy here. Some of you have done some really fantastic spiritual work, energy healing. So you've already kind of told me you've had healing principles attached to you. And by all rights, it looks like they have as well. Okay. The only thing that's really talking here that's negative is fears, not the intuition itself. Because what you know is solid as hell between you two. Some of you are the mature man, or you're thinking about working with the mature man. But somebody identified, I did say that this person felt female. So perhaps you are the mature man. 5. We also have the indication of the world, the globe. So yeah, there might have been a cycle or two between you. Yeah, like I said, if you could work positively before, you can do it again. Okay. And the distant horizon, like I said, there's no rush, and there is community involvement attached to this. So whatever it is that you do, it has reaching consequence that help a larger extent of whatever it is I'm seeing here. Your project work with this person, be it a fundraiser or a side gig, whatever, affects the community in a positive way. You understand? So many people benefit. There you go. And it is on the distant horizon. House, home, somebody might work out of their home, or it's very solid. Justification. Strong sense of stability here with that sense of home. Yeah, it all makes sense. In other words, everybody benefits, and it's stable too. It's well constructed, it's stable, it's forthright, it stands up on its own principle. So in other words, everyone benefits, and it's coming from a good, solid, stable place. Okay? All right. I think that about covers it. The gift. Innocent people are positively affected. I'm thinking here in career, some of you might work with kids. I don't know why they'd be showing me confirmation of a child. I just know that there's a certain innocence here, sweetness, it could be very simple in terms of working together for the right reasons and positivity. As I said, it affects many people in the community in the right ways. Okay. All right. Aries, honey, I hope this helped you. You put in the comments as you see fit. Take care. Be well.
All right, my loves. I hope y'all enjoyed that. If so, go and subscribe to my girl. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit that sub, like, share. Always go within so you never go without.